Welcome everyone to this week's episode of Victini News. I am your host, Cuban. We have reached the halfway point for the season. The games become more and more important. And additionally, we've been informed that the Titans have been unleashed and the VDL is looking for brave warriors to take them down. But here in the Victini division, this doesn't concern us. We would rather see how week 3 played out. So, let's check it out. In our first match, we had the Detroit Drift Blimps from NIF take on the Tennessee Titans from Jomama. This was one of the 2 fights this week for the top spots. An interesting start from both sides, as NIF quickly revealed a prepared tech, Amnesia Water Compaction on the Palosan. With the addition of Shore Up, it could heal itself and get buffed by the Lantern, who was trying to scold a different Pokemon and then flip turn out. Luckily for Jomama, Whimsicott did just enough damage before getting KO'd by the Palosan that the Decidueye Hisui got the revenge kill. With Palosan dead, Lantern managed to play Pivot for several turns, which resulted in a defeated Tentacruel via Volt Switch from said Lantern, before Staraptor finally took it out. And compared to the last weeks, Jomama was prepared for the Sylveon. When it used its patterned Hyper Voice, it only did 28% to the Delphox, and the Delphox in return easily took out the Sylveon. When Colossal hit the board, Jomama made a smart decision by letting Delphox die to the Colossal to pull out his own little tech, Weakness Policy Oricorio. Thanks to the Quiver Dance boost, it managed to survive the Power Jam and danced twice. Having Weakness Policy, it got an additional damage boost, which was enough for it to easily take out the final 3 Pokemon from Niv, ending the game in a 3-0 victory for Jomama. In the second match, we have the Moss Deep Mudkips with Coach Tube and Redshirt's Green Bay Pincers. Redshirt revealed Sunny Day turn 1. An interesting choice against a team with Charizard, but looking at the team, you could think why. Chlorophyll Leafeon and Typhlosion Hisui, both very much Sun abusers. Leafeon managed to take the first KO of the game against Charizard. That is quickly followed by an overheat kill from Redshirt Cyclosa on Fortress. With the next 1v1 won by Earthworm and even Tauros Combat getting a kill on Miss Magius to turn the match for just a moment into a 6v2 for the Green Bay Pincers. But Pillowswine comes out and says, "Not so fast." Easily tanks the Outrage and KO's Tauros. Ice Shot and EQ is enough to kill their Cyclosa. Typhlosion comes in and tries to hit Focus Blast, and out of the 3 it used, only 1 hit, but that was the Samurott on Tubeside, not the Pillowswine, who dodged the 3rd Focus Blast and took another kill. But there's only so much the low tier GOAT can do, and it ends up with a 3-0 victory for Redshirt, after Earthworm finally ends the Pillow streak. For the third match, we had CB Fry's New York Low Kicks facing the Fighting Lando T's from Red Sox Alex. The fight begins with both teams attacking each other and Houndoom using Terra early to damage the Incineroar. No kills, but it left Incineroar vulnerable with a toxic poison. No kills happened, but it left Incineroar vulnerable after getting poisoned with Toxic. And it actually took a few more turns when the already badly damaged Incineroar was taken out by Sandslash. Then it was Goodra from Alex who had to endure punishment, eating a T-Wave meant for Glaceon, losing its AV thanks to Knockoff, and then getting flinched by a Houndoom that pivoted in via U-turn from Uxie. And the Houndoom finished the job, KOing the Goodra. Uxie was next to fall, getting defeated by Slowbro. Then we had Mudsdale slowly getting stamina boosts as it eats its citrus berry and tanking the EQs from the Sandslash. We were thinking, no way, is it going to sweep again? But then Houndoom said no. Dark Pulse into a flinch, into another Dark Pulse to KO the Mudsdale. Alex's Bramblegast suddenly shows some fighting spirit as it hangs on with a sash and nearly takes out the Houndoom, who switches into Bravery. Bravery took a good amount of damage and then managed to take out the Bramblegast. Then we saw Akaladon and Slowbro get traded to get into a 3v1 situation. Glaceon versus the rest of CB Thrice's team. Luckily for Alex, this one is still wearing a scarf. Freeze-Dry takes out Houndoom, Tauros Aqua, and Bravery for the 1-0 victory for Alex. The fourth match was between Alicalcos with the Boom Burst Bearcarman and Drakeon with his Carolina Incineroars. We start off with Basculin against Talonflame. Alicalcos plays this really well, switching around and putting him into a solid position, predicting a Rock Tomb and staying in to put Breloom on low HP. This actually rewards him with the first KO of the match, as his Talonflame takes out Toadscrew. That though is quickly answered by 2 kills from Basculin on the basically dead 5% sleeping Rotom and on Talonflame, thanks to Aquajet. Grafaiai then loses his life against Sandslash Lola. Breloom comes in and tries to Mach Punch the Sandslash as Alcremie stands in his way and starts setting up Calm Mines. Thankfully for Drakeon, Magmortar crits his Flamethrower and then uses Overheat to get rid of the +2 Calm Mind Alcremie. Otherwise, that thing could have done some massive damage. In return, Shiftry comes in and shows some of his own might as he Terra Blasts ground Magmortar and then aerial aces the Noivern to pick up 2 kills before getting KO'd by its Life Orb. But with Sandslash and Gastrodon alive against Breloom and Basculin, it looked basically lost for Alicalcos as Breloom easily takes out the Sandslash with Mach Plunge. Only Gastrodon left. But wait a minute, Breloom turned around and looked towards Basculin and told him that it is his time to shine. Gastrodon hits the Ice Beam to KO Breloom. Basculin comes in and wins the match for his team with a Terra Blast Grass for the 1-0 victory for the Carolina Incineroars. This heroic sacrifice from Breloom made the crowd go wild. The next match was the Ottawa Ordinaries, with lack of interest, fighting against the NC Noble Roar from They Call Me Gage. Luck immediately went on the offense with a tidy up, countered by Gage's Sandaconda using Glare. One turn of power later, Mousehold goes in for the population bomb. Oh fuck, go back, could only be heard as it does one hit, sees the rookie helmet on the snake, and immediately switches out. Mousehold later comes back to remove rocks via tidy up, but gets KO'd by Gage's Swalot. At this point, the Swalot was Terra Ghost as Dojio came in and clicked Shadow Ball? Wait a minute, that is Sorua. 2 Shadow Balls and it gets the KO on Swalot, perfectly tricking Gage, who clicked Body Press. It then even managed to put Galvantula at half HP before the bug thunders it back to its Pokeball. Sticky Webs get set up against Komala, who easily removes them with Rapid Spin, getting the KO in the process. And then either it was the fastest Emboar against the slowest Komala, or there was some other trickery going around, but Emboar takes out Komala with a Drain Punch, outspeeding it even though the Komala was +1 speed. Then Tauros gets sacrificed after it was already low against the Articuno, so the real Dojio can come in and revenge kill the Articuno. Cloyster uses the chance of the thrashing Dodrio to set up Shell Smash, taking out the final two Pokémons of lack of interest in Dodrio and in Didi for the 3-0 victory for the NC Noble Raw and They Call Me Gage. After this, we had the title counter Rentrums from Grixie face off against the Oslo Okidogis from Viking. An early misplay saw Viking starting on the back foot, with Altaria getting KO'd by Wishcash because he forgot the Terra. But he quickly finds his footing back in the game with Shell Smash Warturtle, who took out Darkspan and half of the HP from Dragalge, who in return took out the turtle. Viking then sent out Cleavor, who, after early miscalculations, manages to hit the Dragalge, taking it out, followed by a second kill on Wishcash. With a smart double switch from Viking, he managed to put Golurk in front of the body press from the +2 Bronzong, easily dispatching it with 2 Poltergeists and a Drain Punch. The Inteleon can't really touch Golurk, who Terra Electric either, as it grabs another kill. Palmot does manage to take the Titan out, but it was locked into close combat, with Mimikyu coming in and ending the fight with a Shadow Claw for the 3-0 victory for Viking and the Oslo Okidogis. In our second to last match, we had Lord Quall and the Denver Flare Blitz take on the Scarlet Knights with their coach Pandemonium. We saw some back and forth between both teams until Robombi puts up a Reflect for the Regirock to abuse. And abuse it did. 2 iron defenses and it started body pressing. Cypher, Jolteon, Diancie, all taken out. Golem Malola comes in and has to explode to end the With the Trick Room that was set up by Diancie still active, Lord Quall smartly used a combination of Triple Axel and Rapid Spin on his Hitmon top to defeat both Tatsugiri and then surviving a hit from Electrode to take both of them down. But Typhlosion is able to withstand the Hitmon top, defeat it and the Revavroom in the back for a 3-0 victory for Pandemonium. And our final match is also our match of the week. It was close between this one and CB Fries against Red Sox Alex, but in the end game possibility won it. We had the Maryland Misfits with Meta fight against the New York Hydreigons from Supreme Omega. It was a second match for the top spots. And we immediately start with an early showdown between the 2 Terra captains of the Maryland Misfits, Corporaja, and the New York Hydreigons, Trevenant. And it looked like Corporaja has it in the bag, as he put Trevenant to 10%. But then, Trevenant pulled out the Custard Berry to take the rival's Terra captain out, and immediately getting it back with Harvest. But today, he won't do a solo run, as he gets defeated by the Spike laid down by the Gligar. Bulky Rocky Helmet Toxtricity gets the next kill, surviving an overheat from Zep Striker, and in return takes it out with Boom Burst. We see a little bit of switching around until Tauros Paldea Blaze stands in front of Sliggoo Hisui, only taking 3% from Heavy Slam and taking it out. Gardevoir comes in and threatens a KO after tracing the Intimidate from the Tauros and putting it at -1 attack. So, Meta smartly sacrificed his Florges, but he does get rewarded as his Tauros attack drop resets, and he comes in to force Supreme to make a sacrifice, in this case, Quillfish. Flamigo is the next one to take a KO on his Toxtricity, while also losing his Scarf after a knockoff from Gligar. According to our calculations in the studio, Supreme should have had the game here, as he clicked Tailwind on the Flamigo. Fearing the recall damage, he clicked Close Combat into the Mabustiff, who switched into Gligar. And with 2 close combats, the Flamigo did end up taking out the Gligar and then Brave Birding the 50% Mabustiff. But that was the final Tailwind turn. And Taurus, with Scarf, was there to take out both Flamigo and Gardevoir for the 1-0 victory for Meta and the Maryland Misfits. Calculating the recoil here, he took 16% from the 50% Mabustiff. And looking at the damage he did to Gligar earlier, he would have one-hit KO'd the Gligar at 34%, roughly taking somewhere between 12 and 13% recoil, which puts him very low, but it would still be alive with one more Tailwind turn up, and the Brave Bird should kill the Taurus Paldea Blaze, where the recoil would have taken out the Flamigo, but it would have also taken out the Taurus Paldea Blaze, leaving Gardevoir as the sole winner. Of course, these are just calculations, and in the end, he made a different decision, which led to the 1-0 victory. Enough of that though, let's take a look at our special kill rankings. We have the Bounty Hunter ranking, which, if you aren't aware, works in the following way. Your Pokemon gets a point for the cost of the opponent's Pokemon's draft cost. So if your Pokemon beats a 6-pointer, it will get 6 points in this ranking. Currently at the front, we have Trevenant with 71 points, shortly followed by Taurus Paldea Blaze with 69 points. Nice. Third place is 16 points behind with Croft on 53 points, who is closely followed by Dodrio and Regirock, each with 49 and 45 points. It will be interesting how this ranking will look in week 8. And our other ranking is the underdog ranking. The point system is slightly different, as it subtracts your Pokemon's points from the Pokemon it has taken out. So your 9-pointer beating a 6-pointer gives it 0 points, as there is no negative. But if it defeats a 12-pointer, it will get 3 points. This will allow us to see which Pokemon might have been undervalued, or if it has overperformed, which would be a compliment to the coach itself. Here we also see Trevenant on first place with 44 points, closely followed by Cloth on 35 points. Third is once again a bit further behind with Golurk on 24 points, and Houndoom on 4th has 20 points, with Dodrio only 1 point behind on 5th with 19 points. Oftentimes, we've seen some late lungers from Pokemons, whose coach is slowly getting aware on how to use it, while others will focus more on the top 5. Can Trevenant keep his current domination, or will he stagnate and get potentially caught by his rivals? We will have to see. For nickname of the week, we have not a single Pokemon, but a whole team. We weren't sure who would get it, so we let the game decide. And so, this week, it is Danganronpa with his Danganronpa theme. In his fight, Lack of Interest was running a theme to end Danganronpa. But in the end, he felt despair and lost hope and his match, keeping the Danganronpas alive. For favorite set of the week, we have Palossand from Nif, using Amnesia to boost its special defense and its ability Water Compaction to get defensive boosts, while having Shore Up to heal itself, was a really cool idea from Nif. It has a lot of potential, even though in this match it didn't really do as much as he potentially hoped. I think the set is great, especially against Pokemons like Lantern, but also against Pokemons like Alola Mola, who generally just want to click water moves or flip turn. So overall, this was a really cool set. Let's check out our Week 4 schedules. We already start with a banger between the Detroit Driftblimps and the Maryland Misfits. NIF against Meta. One of them won their Week 3 match for their top spot, while the other one lost. But this can easily be nullified if NIF wins and Meta loses. In our second match, we have, in my opinion, match of the week. Tube with the Moss Deep Mudkips against CB Fries with the New York Low Kicks. Both are still without a win, and with the middle of the season already here, both of them need a victory. Going 0-4 is basically a death sentence for your playoff hopes, unless they can somehow crawl their way back to win 4 in a row and make it with good differential and a lot of help. Similarly, we have Redshirt and Ali Kalkos fighting for survival. Redshirt got his first win last week. Can he continue and build a streak, or will it end and it will be Ali Kalkos' first win? We will have to see. The Green Bay Pincers against the Boom Burst Backgammon is our third match. Continuing his revenge tour, Jumama and his Tennessee Titans have set their target on the New York Dragons from Supreme Omega. Jumama has been unstoppable, but Supreme has had his number in previous seasons, so we will see how this will go. The fifth match is the Titletown Tarantrums from Grixie against the Fighting Lando Tees from Red Sox Alex. Ever since his Week 1 loss, Alex has been on a roll with 2 wins in a row. Will he use this momentum to carry himself to playoffs, or will Grixie finally get his first win and get on the board? The more weeks go by, the more dangerous Grixie will become. Continuing down the line, we have the Carolina Incineroars from Drakeon fighting the Denver Flareblitz from Lord Quall. Both coaches have given us a show, epic and exciting matches, not playing for the differential, but for the fans. Lord Quall can equalize their scores with 2-2, but Drakeon can set himself up if he wins with a 3-0 scoreline. In our second to last match, we have the Ottawa Ordinaries from Lack of Interest facing the Oslo Okidokis from Viking. The undefeated Okidokis are looking to take the favorite spot that we had given the Ordinaries at the beginning of the season. We had some rough matchups and are down 1-2. Will the fall continue, or will they claw back? The game has already happened, but I'm not gonna tell you who won. You will have to watch next week's episode or check the Discord. And our final match of this week is the Scarlet Knights with Pandemonium against They Call Me Gage with his NC Noble Roar. Last week he provided despair to Lag, and this week he will test the Knights to see if they can get away with murder or if they will also get executed. Every match could and will probably be a banger. Let's check out the GTS for any updates on the rosters for this week. Welcome to the GTS. This week we only saw the Ottawa Ordinaries removing Mousehold for Ditto. Mousehold has not done them justice. Will Ditto manage to transform into a Pokemon that will deal with their opponent? It is a great scouter, and hopefully it will do good for Lag. But that's it already for this week's episode. A reminder that the watch party will happen on Saturday around the time we have decided on in announcements. Thank you all once again for watching. I wish you all a great rest of the week and good luck on your matches.